All right, let's talk about ChatGPT. You're probably using it, right? But are you really using it to its full potential? Today, we're going to move way beyond just asking it for basic stuff. I'm talking about 9 real concrete ways you can turn this thing from a simple little helper into a genuine strategic partner for your business. It's time to unlock what it can really do. Let's dive in. So that leads to the big question, doesn't it? Is your AI just sitting there, underused? You know, the difference between getting a bland, kind of meh response and getting a truly game-changing insight, it's all in the details. It's in the setup. We're going to close that gap and turn your AI into an absolute powerhouse. And we're going to start with the foundation that, honestly, most people just skip right over. Okay, so here's our game plan. We've got 4 main parts. First, we'll nail down the essential foundation. Then, we'll jump into optimizing your digital presence, creating amazing content, and finally, automating your communication. Let's get right to it. All right, first things first, the essential base. Look, before you even think about crafting some super complex prompt, you gotta get your settings right. This is the secret sauce, really. It's what unlocks those personalized, powerful results. And trust me, it's the step most people completely ignore, but it makes all the difference. And you won't believe how simple this is. We're talking about 4 key settings you absolutely have to turn on. First, custom instructions. This is where you tell it who you are, what you do, your tone of voice. Then you've got memory and chat history references. This is huge because it lets the AI actually learn from your past conversations. And finally, recording mode, so it can pull from transcripts. You put all that together and suddenly ChatGPT goes from being a tool with amnesia to a partner that actually gets you. Okay, foundation is set. Awesome. Now, let's get into part 2. Optimizing your digital presence. Think of this as hiring an unbiased, super smart consultant who's going to take a hard look at your public-facing stuff. You know, your website, your social media profiles, the works. And one of the easiest but most powerful things you can do right away? Ask ChatGPT to critique your LinkedIn profile. Seriously. Now, here's a little pro tip for you. Don't just send it a link because sometimes that gets blocked. Instead, just copy and paste the text from your profile, or even better, give it a screenshot. That way you know for sure it's seeing exactly what a visitor sees. And this is the kind of gold you can get back. The AI will point out your strengths, for sure, like, hey, great banner. But more importantly, it's going to spot the weaknesses you've gone completely blind to. For example, in the original source for this, the AI pointed out that a link in bio was clever, but it wasn't clear what it was for. That is a perfect example of being way too close to your own stuff to spot an obvious problem. And hey, this isn't just for LinkedIn. You can use the exact same logic for your sales page. Feed it the text, give it the link, and just ask for a full audit. It'll show you what's working, like your awesome testimonials, so you can double down on that. But critically, it's going to flag those silent conversion killers, the things that are costing you sales that you don't even notice anymore. We're talking about stuff like unclear pricing, or maybe not having a simple discovery offer. All right, moving on to section 3, and this is a big one, creating impactful content. This is where we make a huge shift. We're going from using ChatGPT as a simple editor to using it as a full-on strategic partner. The goal here? To become a machine that pumps out high-quality strategic content and to do it at scale. Okay, and here is probably the most crucial tip in this whole section. If you want truly valuable feedback on your content, you have to be super explicit with the AI. You need to literally tell it, be harsh, be tough, or even be mean. Why? Because this lets it bypass its built-in politeness filter and give you the raw, unfiltered, critical feedback that you actually need to get better. Okay, let's get into a real pro-level strategy now. It's called building a semantic cocoon. Sounds complicated, but it's not. It's a really powerful SEO trick where you create this whole universe of related content. Imagine you have one main pillar page, the big one you really want to rank for. Then you create a bunch of smaller, satellite pages that talk about related topics. The key is they all link back to that main pillar page. It's like they're all shouting to Google, hey, this page over here is the real deal. And this is where ChatGPT basically becomes your personal SEO strategist. Just think about it for a second. You give it your main keyword, let's say it's AI keynote speaker, and boom, it hands you back a complete content plan. It'll map out every single one of those satellite articles you need to write. This is how you build real authority on a topic, step by step, almost on autopilot. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about visuals. You know, trying to create things like carousels or full presentations with AI can be, well, a bit hit or miss sometimes. But there's a secret to it, and it's a super simple 2-step process. The whole key is to separate the substance from the style.
Let one AI handle the brains of the operation, the ideas, the text, and another handle the beauty.
So for something like a carousel, here's the recipe. Step 1, you go to ChatGPT and get it to generate all the core content. The hook, the points for each slide, the call to action at the end. Step 2, you take all that raw text, you copy it, and you paste it into a specialized design tool, something like Post Nitro. It'll take your text and make it look gorgeous. You get the best of both worlds, great content and great design. And guess what? The exact same logic works perfectly for presentations. You can use ChatGPT to map out the entire story. You can even give it fun prompts like, give me a 10-slide presentation, but do it in the style of an Apple keynote. How cool is that? Then you just take that structure, plug it into an AI presentation tool like Gamma, and it will instantly spit out a polished, professional-looking deck. I mean, we're talking about saving hours of work here. And that brings us to our final section, automating your communication. This is all about getting back your most valuable resource, time. We're going to look at how to use AI to streamline your outreach, your emails, your responses, all while staying personal. It's about saving a ton of time without sounding like a robot. One of the best techniques for this is something called the You, Me, Us framework. It's perfect for things like LinkedIn outreach. It sounds simple, and it is, but it's incredibly effective. You structure your message like this. First, you make it about them. Then, you briefly connect it to you. And finally, you propose something you can do together. And actually putting this into action with AI is shockingly easy. You literally just feed ChatGPT a person's LinkedIn profile and tell it, write me a message using the You, Me, Us framework. It'll scan their recent posts for the you part, connect it to what you do for the me part, and then suggest a way to collaborate for the us part. It's true personalization, but done at scale. A total game changer. And this works wonders for email, too. You know that feeling of staring at an email, not knowing how to reply? Forget that. Just paste the email you received into ChatGPT, give it a little context about what you want to say, and ask it for a draft. Look, it might not be 100% perfect, but it'll get you 90% of the way there in just a few seconds. Think of all the mental energy that saves. So let's just wrap up with this final thought. We've gone through everything from the basic settings all the way to advanced content strategy and communication. The question really isn't just, how can I use AI anymore? The real question is, what would happen if my AI became my primary strategic partner? The potential is absolutely massive. It's right there. You just have to unlock it.